Hey everyone, Kevin here with Divinely Designed, and we have a paper crafting video. Heather over at Stamp Nation asked for a little video on how to do this paper balloon, which I made for a card on one of the challenges over at Stamp Nation. I actually was just I was kind of feeling a little bit silly and I wanted to do something just kind of fun, so I made this paper balloon. So she asked for a little video on how I did that. So I'm starting off with just some regular typing paper. This is not cardstock. This is really thin, typing paper. And I have some in some really nice fluorescent colors, and I think that works well. And then what you want to do is take your paper and cut it into 1/4-inch strips. I took a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and then cut it in half, and then you're going to cut them this way so that your strips are, let's see, 5.5 inches long, and then you're going to cut them to be 1/4 inch wide. And I did this together, just lined them up on my cutter and made a couple of strips, okay? So you want about 16 different strips. Once you have the different strips, I have a piece of fun foam here, and I took my strips and put them together. Now this isn't 16, this is just a couple of them just for demonstration purposes. But you want to put a brad, a hole and a brad in the one side. Now these are all lined up nice and flush, and what I did was just this is just a sort of pokey tool, and poked through, and then took this hole punch, which is a really kind of small hole, and punched through all of those so they were all the same size, and then put my brad through. Now one little tip I have, you'll notice the little wings on the back here are kind of longer than you'll need, so I just sort of fold those in half back to the strips of paper so that it'll be kind of flat later on. Okay, now that's the one end. What you're going to do with the other end is you want to actually bend it into kind of the shape of the balloon if you were looking at it from the side. So it's almost like a question mark. So like that. But let the paper sort of loose. And then you're going to, when you get that shape, you're going to hold this end here. So it's not going to be even on this side. See how that sort of is feathered now? And if you hold that end and you look at it at the side, it has sort of this hump in the middle, and that's what you want. So then you're going to put that down on a piece of fun foam and poke a hole. Give yourself a little bit of space here, but I'm going to poke a hole through all of them so I can get that hole in the same spot on all of them. And then, now if you're trying to do this to 16 pieces, you can't do it all at once, but I probably have about 8 here, so I can probably punch them all at once. And then you're going to take another brad and put it through there, just like on the other end, and fold your little wings in. Okay, so you should end up with 2 brads in there in the middle. And then what you want to do is you're just going to fan this out and give it shape. Now I will tell you, this is the hardest part. You want to obviously take your colors, so that they fold out appropriately, so you have nice stripes. And you also want to sort of manipulate it so you have this sort of round shape. And you're going to keep doing that, just folding them out and sort of manipulating the shape with your fingers. Now what I found is once you get a couple of them, like if I were working on this side over here, and I got them to the space that I wanted, what I did was take a piece of just regular tape and sort of tape down the ones that I get where I want them. And then I'll move on to kind of the next little grouping and shape those. Okay, so that's the piece that takes the kind of the hardest is getting that shape right. So you should end up then with something like this, and you're pretty much done. Now if you put your brad in the wrong space or you put it back really far, you may want to trim off these extra little pieces here, because this is what's going to be flat against the paper. And then you'll notice that when you look at it, this side is, you know, kind of big, so when you can fix this by when you put it down on your card, you can actually fix it by sort of putting the glue in specific places and pushing with your finger a little bit so that you glue it in place so that it gives you more of that balloon shape. And again, this is just more sort of, you know, physical manipulation of the shape itself, and use some quick drying glue so that you can kind of hold it in place until it gets to where you want it, and then when you let it go, it'll keep its shape. Now the last piece is if you want to do sort of a little basket, you can take a 1 inch by 1 inch piece of, this is cardstock, but I scored it at 1/8 of an inch. That might be hard to see, but 1/8 of an inch around 3 sides. And then you can cut two little sort of wings on one of those scores and just fold it up, fold in those little wings. All right, just like that, and then fold up your sides. Now I'm doing this very quickly. You're going to take your time and do it nice and neatly. And then, oops, and then glue those side pieces in place. So what you end up with is kind of this 3D little basket, and you can use that to cover up the little brad that's at the bottom of your balloon. Again, you may want to clean up these pieces here and just sort of trim them off, and that will make your balloon a little bit easier to cover up and make the basket. And obviously you could draw in the little basket. I colored mine in just with some Distress ink around the corners and did some little pencil lines to make it look like a basket. So that's it. Super quick video. Comments, questions, leave them down below, and I will talk to you all later. Bye now.